are the moments that we talk about in which the greatness needs to come out of said player. Josh Allen, I understand that his left tackle is getting put in his lap, but you have got to find a way. If you're that guy and you want to be immortalized, you've got to find a way to make that play.
Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills had yet another season come to a disappointing end this past year, leaving many up in arms about what was next for the team. Just a few years ago, they were just one game away from making the Super Bowl, but since then, they have failed to return to the AFC Championship game. Divisional round losses the last 3 years, and 2 against Patrick Mahomes, have fans and analysts wondering what it will take for the Bills to get over the hump, or even worse, is their championship window closed? But what if I told you that this is the year the Bills will finally put it all together and completely break the NFL? And the reason why? Because they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now you're probably thinking, Spencer, how does that make any sense? They're going to be better this year because they lost to a modern day dynasty. Yes, stick with me now. Last year you could argue that it was actually a down year for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes for the most part. Their high-flying offense wasn't so high-flying. Mahomes had a career high in interceptions, and there were questions of whether they'd be able to take down the best in the AFC. But when it came down to it, the Chiefs won, and they won ugly. Now I think the Bills will take a page out of Kansas City's book in order to put themselves over the top and realize that surrounding Josh Allen with the biggest pieces aren't always the right ones. A perfect example of this is the wide receivers. Last year, Patrick Mahomes showed that you don't always need an insane wide receiving core to win a Super Bowl. Sure, it will make it more difficult, but with the right pieces, it can allow for a better flow of the offense. So on April 3rd, the Bills decided to trade Stefon Diggs to the Houston Texans in exchange for a 2nd, 5th, and 6th round pick. Diggs clearly wasn't too happy in Buffalo, and it created some obvious tension for the team. So after the trade, many were wondering, well, who the heck is Josh Allen going to throw the football to? Well, just like the Chiefs, I think the Bills have a really good and dynamic tight end room that can pick up some of the slack. Sure, the Bills don't have Travis Kelce, who takes 2 defenders with him every play, but Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid are no scrubs. I could see Kincaid having a huge breakout season this year, with Diggs no longer the main guy for Allen. Kincaid instantly became one of Allen's favorite targets as a rookie last year, and I expect this connection to only get better. Now, from the actual wide receiver position, I think the Bills did a really underrated job of constructing a group of guys that will gel well and feed off each other. They went out and signed Curtis Samuel and MVS, who I think will be key parts of this offense. Scaling brings that aspect of taking the top off defenses to the table, and Samuel is a do-it-all kind of guy who can be used in a multitude of ways. Another player I think is due for a breakout year on the team is third-year receiver Khalil Shakir. Shakir usually lines up in the slot and is really shifty. He, along with others, will be able to see more receptions come his way, with Diggs no longer in the picture. And last but not least, their new number 1 and potential franchise receiver, rookie from Florida State, Keon Coleman. Coleman is a freak athlete who is 6'4", 215. Coleman has already made some exciting plays at camp that has fans ready to see him in action come September. Now, one thing about new receiving cores is that it usually takes time to gel with their QB. Good news for Bills fans, Josh Allen obviously isn't the average QB and should expedite this process with the talent and work ethic he has.
I mean, sometimes it clicks right away. For some guys it could take a season, it could take 3 seasons, you know, and obviously the faster that we can expedite that process, the better. And getting together right now, obviously, throughout OTAs, making sure that we're going to meet during the summer break that we have here. And then in the training camp, just make sure that we're talking and have an open line of communication with routes and concepts, what I see, what they feel, and just trying to listen and just try to improve every day.
I'm not having Josh Allen out of my top 10. The other thing about the Bills, I follow college football. I thought they had another excellent draft. And if we're going to give Kansas City credit for their star receiver in the draft, why can't I give Buffalo credit for theirs? I have the Bills still hovering around the Super Bowl bubble at 7.
So now let's dive a little more into that draft for the Buffalo Bills. The Bills held on to their veteran core as long as they could, thinking it would be good enough to win a Super Bowl. But this year, they dismantled it. The team moved on from a lot of players and left a good amount of holes to fill in the draft, and they did just that. I already talked about the Keon Coleman pick to replace Diggs at the number 1 wide receiver spot, so let's jump into their second pick of the draft, Cole Bishop, a safety from Utah. Bishop helps ease some uncertainty at the safety position with the release of Jordan Poyer and is in line to take over the starting job. Bishop can move all over the field and also ran an impressive 4.45 40. He has many of the qualities the Bills like at the safety position and was also a teammate of Dalton Kincaid in college. In the 3rd round, the Bills selected defensive tackle Dwayne Carter from Duke. Carter will be next in line to take over for Ed Oliver when the time comes, but still has the potential to be of key use for the team right now. Their depth at the position was very slim, and youth at the position was even slimmer, so Carter should be able to provide depth and spark at times. In the 4th round, the Bills filled yet another hole by taking running back Ray Davis from Kentucky. With James Cook finally having a breakout year last season, the team needed to find a good second punch in the backfield, who also has the ability to catch passes. Davis is a great fit, as he is 5'8", 211 pounds, and caught 7 touchdowns in 2023 out of the backfield. With the rest of the draft, the Bills had another 6 picks and made sure that they would all be meaningful depth to the team, and for some, a chance to make an impact on special teams. The new rookies, new acquisitions, and returning players got a chance to get work in at the team's minicamp and OTAs recently. The camp had a seize the moment type of feel to it, with so many players having such a big chance of making a bigger impact and fighting for more value on the roster due to the massive overhaul the team did. Learning curve for as many as possible. One way this has been done was the emergence of some new leaders. Terrell Bernard was a breakout linebacker for the team last year and now looks like one of the leaders for the unit, while Taron Johnson is looking to be a more vocal veteran player in the secondary. Head coach Sean McDermott also mentioned how veteran secondary player Taylor Rapp filled that lack of leadership in the secondary during OTAs. Coaches have also helped players get to where they feel most comfortable in an effort to gel quicker, including the new center for the team, Connor McGovern, has been used as a guard his entire 4-year NFL career. McGovern primarily played center in college and said, "I always liked being in the middle, and that was always comfortable to me." Now the team will get a brief break over the summer before returning to training camp. A tough camp will be what the team needs with a lot of new pieces and a tough 2024 regular season schedule. But to be the best, you have to beat the best. And I think that just might be what is in store for the Bills this year. Before I break down and predict their entire schedule, comment below what you think the Bills record will be when it's all said and done. Alright, now let's get into it. I have the Bills starting the season off with a win as they open up at home versus the Arizona Cardinals, who not too many people have faith in this year. Then I have the Bills losing their second game of the year on the road in Miami. I think the Bills will still be working out a lot of kinks in their new team, and Miami early on in the season is not a fun place to play. No worries though, Bills fans, as I have them bouncing back the following week at home versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bills then go on an absolute treacherous 3-game road streak versus the Ravens, Texans, and Jets. I think the Bills will go 1-2 during this and pick up a win versus the Texans and spoil a Stefon Diggs revenge game. Once again, I think the team will need to come together a little more before they take that next step and beat some elite level teams on the road in primetime games like the Ravens and Jets. After this though, I have the Bills picking up some steam and winning 4 games in a row against the Titans, Seahawks, Dolphins, and Colts. I think the team will start to show more cohesion and set up for another great matchup against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in Week 11. With that said, I do think the team will need a little more time if they want to take down the top dogs, and I think that time will come around in the playoffs, and they will get their revenge. After that, the Bills get their bye and come out of it with a tough stretch of games, but I think they will start by making a statement and getting a big win against the San Francisco 49ers. From there, they will travel to LA and take on the Rams, where I see Josh Allen pulling out another win. The following week, the Bills have another road game, which I see them dropping against the Detroit Lions. Back-to-back road games is tough, but the loss won't be a big deal, as the Bills will finish the year on a 3-game winning streak, as they will come home to play the Patriots and Jets, and then go to New England for the regular season finale. This leaves the Bills sitting at 11-5, and I think it will be enough to get them yet another division title in the Josh Allen era. The teams going into the playoffs this year, and by that time, I think the team chemistry will be off the charts. I think all these new pieces will rally around Josh, and then the end goal of a Super Bowl and playing for each other and not themselves. I think a rematch with the Chiefs will be inevitable, and this time, I think they will actually slay the dragon and win, stopping them from beating everyone else in their path and finally bringing a Lombardi trophy to the passionate fans in Buffalo. Let me know what you guys think about the Bills this season down below. Do you think they will make it to the big game or completely flop with a closed Super Bowl window? Be sure to like and subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.